Hello, class of 2023. This is Mr. Legg here for your SEL ICAP lesson. I want to say thank you all for kind of joining me on this journey. I know that some of you have been able to express some really serious thoughts about your time this year, what you've learned this year, what you've experienced, and some of you have chosen not to share, and that's completely okay. But I want to thank you for joining me in this, and I want to start by again reviewing what we discussed last time. So last time I asked what you think of when you think of COVID and pandemic learning. And our administrators, our teachers are constantly thinking about this and what is it most important that you take away from this year, whether it's something specific about math, something specific about English. But I think more than anything, people have taken away that it's more important for you to learn about yourself and how you responded in these times, how you respond in difficult times, and the best way for you to learn how to respond to these difficult times and being able to reflect on that. I think most adults would agree that that is more important than any learning you can take away this year. Now, of course, you have to learn some math. You have to learn some English. It's going to be necessary in order for you to be ready for your classes next year and to be ready for the rigor or the difficulty of college classes, possibly if you're taking them. So yes, there does need to be learning taking place this year, but in all honesty, I believe the best thing you can do is learn more about yourself during this time. And so, you know, again, one thing I specifically said is, if you can't learn from this time and take something away from it, it'll be a lost opportunity. A lot of things have been taken away from us during this time, and we can focus on that. You'd be justified in focusing on that, but it's not going to help you move forward. And that is very important. You all deserve the opportunity to move forward. And part of that is being able to take time and reflect on all facets of your life, school, outside of school, just your personal thoughts and well-being, really just being able to reflect. So I want to share a little bit of information. So I sent out a survey, or I gave you a link to a survey, and the following questions were there. Do you feel you have been given opportunities to learn about yourself and to grow academically during the pandemic? Have you taken advantage of opportunities to learn during the pandemic? What have you learned about yourself personally during the pandemic? And what have you learned about yourself as a student during the pandemic? Then the last question was, are you prepared to return in person if we are in person next year? And just some of the general results that we got back. Do you feel you've been given opportunities to learn about yourself and to grow academically during the pandemic? 46% of students said yes. Only 7% said no, close to 8%. And then over 46.2, so basically an even number, and only 26 students responded to this, 26 of your fellow 10th graders. But basically half said yes and half said a little bit. And so that shows that there's, there's some lost opportunity there for us as a school to make sure that you learn, or to make sure you understand that there are opportunities to learn, or to make sure we supported you in some of that. And then there's also always the time for you to be able to reflect and say, okay, what was my role in it as well? Did I not take advantage of the opportunities? Did I not see the opportunities? Was I distracted? Was I too frustrated? Was I not happy with the virtual environment, and as a result was not focused and paying attention? The other question, have you taken advantage of the opportunities to learn during the pandemic? And again, 42% said yes, 23% said no. So people being honest and upfront with themselves, and 34% said kind of. So still the majority would fall within the negative answer, and that is no or kind of was approximately 57% of students said they did not take advantage of opportunities. And so if you're one of those students, and obviously you're not the only one, if you're one of those students, it's a chance for you to reflect and think back. Why did I not take advantages during this time? And I'm a 10th grader. What do I have the ability to change for upcoming years? So trust me, when we look at that first question about were you given opportunities, the school is actively looking at what we can do. It's been so much of what we've been looking at this year, and it doesn't mean we've done a great job with you. But please know that we are constantly looking at how we can serve our students better. I also want to share, again, I'm not sharing names and I don't even know who said these things. So this is not being shared with anybody, it's not being tied to anybody, but I do want to just give you an idea of what some of your peers said in response to some of these questions. So, say, for instance, one student said, I'm a fighter and I can get through many tragedies. Another person said, I really don't want to go back to in-person school. Online school is way better for me, and I learn more during online school. I've learned that it's hard for me to physically adapt to big changes, and that going back to in-person learning is going to have a similar effect to into online learning. Acknowledging that this is going to be difficult. And see the difference between those statements. I've learned that it's hard for me to physically adapt to big changes, and that going back to in-person learning is going to have a similar effect to going into online learning. And then look at the response. I really don't want to go back to in-person school. Online school is way better for me, and I learn more during online school. Both are very honest answers, and both are that person's answers. We can't, we shouldn't criticize either one of these individuals for speaking their truth. But the comparison is one that acknowledges the difficulty, and one is acknowledging the difficulty and almost expressing that that it's not, they're not going to be able to make the change. And remember, we talked about that opened, the fixed mindset and the growth mindset. And again, you can acknowledge that it's going to be difficult. You can acknowledge that you were better in person, or you liked in person better, and you can acknowledge that you're scared about coming back in person. Um, and you can do anything you want. When I say can, I maybe not be using the right word, but just remember, you have the ability to grow and be better and be different and respond differently. That growth mindset is really important, but also just that ability to reflect and be honest is really important. So I appreciate your willingness to share this information. One student said, I'm a very shy individual, but I was able to grow a little out of that shell and discover skills I never knew I had. I learned to accept my insecurities, embrace them. I've learned that by loving myself, I'm much more happy. And then these specific answers in specific questions. What have you learned about yourself as a student during the pandemic? Literally nothing. An honest answer. Are you prepared to return in person next year if you have to? How can school help you feel better prepared? Honestly, I'm not sure. That uncertainty is really real, isn't it? We've been through that this year. I felt like I've literally learned nothing. Now that might be that fixed mindset. That might just be frustration speaking, but it is an honest answer. That student did not feel like they've learned anything. Now, I hope I didn't, break anybody's trust by sharing any of these answers. The goal was to share them in general. And again, I don't even know who gave these answers because I specifically did not request the email of students to be provided to me, or the names, because it was important that we hear this and that that our our staff understand what you're going through. And while I'm not sharing this currently with staff, um, this is great information for them to know, even if it's anonymous like it is. So thank you for sharing. And I want to give more of you a chance to to answer some of those questions. Again, the top link is bit.ly COVID reflect. If you just copy and paste that, so take a picture of this slide, copy and paste that, and put that into your address bar, and that'll take you to that survey. And again, it helps me as a counselor better understand how we need to serve you and what you're going through. So thank you again for that. The second link there, bit.ly/2023 April. At the beginning of the year, over 200 of you completed the beginning of year survey for 10th graders. And things have changed. Whether you've grown, whether you've learned something about yourself, whether you've learned something about what you want in the future, things have changed. And so I want to give you a chance to complete that survey again too, and allow me to see maybe how your aspirations have changed. Help me better understand how this year may have affected you based upon what I saw from the beginning of the year to the end of the year. This isn't intended to be an experiment. This is just intended to be a chance for me to better understand how this year may have affected you, and specifically, how did it change your future aspirations, whether it's taking college classes next year or whether it's going to college or a change of career. So I'd appreciate as many of you filling out that second survey as well. Neither of them will take you a significant amount of time. And it's, the amount of effort you put into it is completely up to you. I would appreciate greatly if you were to do that. And again, the big question, how can you grow between April 22nd and May 27th? And the reason that's the big question is we've got basically a month until school ends. And there is a lot of, I think almost, all of our students and our staff have some sense of anxiety about next year. And again, that's fair. Even if you're expecting good things next year, we don't know exactly what it's going to look like. So even if you're looking forward to being in person, it's going to be a lot different going from your 4-5 person household to 1,200 students in a building, possibly, or 1,000 or 800 or whatever that number is. So thinking about how you can grow between now allows you to focus on now and not focus on the anxiety of too far in the future. And I think it's really important, if you can, to write this down. How can you grow? April 22nd to May 27th. I'm not looking to share that. I'm not asking that anywhere else. I'm just asking that you think about that now. And want to continue to offer you opportunities to grow. So last time we met, I shared this information on Northeast Denver Leadership Week. It is a week-long program that will take place in August. Hopefully it'll be in person and you will have a chance to travel across the city to learn about different facets of the city. Police, sheriff, and fire academy, they've visited the airport, the Capitol. They visit a college. They visit usually the hospital or some type of medical facility. And then in past, they've visited Comcast for students to learn about business and technology. And so this is a great opportunity. And the great thing about this is you can be a leader and not have a great GPA. A lot of the programs I work with students require that you have a 3.0 GPA or above. This program does not. This program just requests a commitment to participate all 5 days and a commitment to completing an essay that says why you want to participate in the program. So please make sure that you look at this website. The bit.ly above will take you to the website. Look at the video if you're really interested. And then down below, the application is now open. And again, the essay question is the most important piece there. And I've shown this many times. But again, I want to make sure that you see yourself and the work you're doing. And you might not see that in your math and your English, but I want you to know there's purpose in your math and your English. There's purpose in your science and your social studies. There's purpose in your ROTC, Spanish, band, computer class, whatever it may be, engineering or manufacturing. There's purpose to it. And if you're still trying to find your purpose, or if you're trying to explore your purpose more, look at taking classes at CEC. If you are not failing classes, if you are on track to graduate, we can allow you either next year or the year after that to take half your day taking classes, focus more on exploring that purpose. These are the opportunities that exist, the programs that exist there. You can get the same information at the link there, the bit.ly/DMLK programs. And then right below there, you can apply as a part-time student, where you attend our school part-time and attend their school part-time. And if you apply, and if you have questions, you can talk with your counselor about exactly what that looks like. Transportation is provided, but it does result in a longer day, either starting earlier or ending later. So please talk with your counselor about these opportunities and consider them, because we understand you might not see exactly what you want to do while you're here at school, but we want to connect the two, what you're doing here at school and what opportunities you have in the future. Next Friday, our volunteer club is doing a cleanup project around the school and in our community. We have been donated all the supplies we need: trash bags, gloves, trash picker uppers so you don't have to use your hands, safety vests. So if you're interested in volunteering just for the fun, just to help the community, or for your resume, go to the link below, bit.ly VC Team Clean. We'd love to see you. This is a way for you to grow. This is a way for you to get to know your peers. We continue to have the MSU Denver After School program. You'll see at the bottom the Join Us. That is the link, bluejeans.com/777983013. This is an opportunity for you to connect with the university and participate in a variety of different activities. We'll have a May schedule coming up soon. And then I've been working with seniors primarily, and not been able to really follow up with you all on ICAP, your specific ICAP questions. But again, this is the link that'll help you complete your quarter 1 through quarter 4. Your grade this quarter for ICAP for SEL will be whether you've completed quarter 1 through quarter 4. And so beginning next week during advisory that I'll agree upon with your teachers, I will do some specific work with your classes to help make sure you get done. But you can easily get this done just by going to this link. And then the most important thing that you need to know is the MLK does care. And we always want to make sure you have access to resources, access to help, access to someone you can talk to. And so want to make sure you always know our mental health team is here. That includes your counselors, our social workers, and just our staff here. And you can choose to make sure that you know that you need to talk with us by going to this link, selecting who you want to talk to, and we will follow up with you. So again, I appreciate you. I hope you will join me along in this journey if you haven't already, by doing that COVID reflection if you didn't do it last time at the top link, by doing the 10th grade survey, the middle link, which again you complete at the beginning of the year, but this gives me an idea of where you're at the end of the year. If you will join me on this journey, I promise you, you'll have learned a little bit about yourself, but you'll also have helped me serve you better. So thank you again. We appreciate you. We love you. Take care.